Hello, welcome back to the Masonic Roundtable, a weekly program where Masons from around the world get together to talk about Masonic news and opinions in a friendly and social manner. As a reminder, the thoughts and opinions expressed here are solely the opinions of the participants and do not represent any Grand Lodge statements or positions. Make sure you keep your conversations open for the public and on the level. To interact with us, you can always catch us live, so you can send questions and comments to the Facebook stream or the YouTube stream, so hello and good evening, on Internet land. And just a warning, your comments may even appear on the show. If you can't catch us live, we love having you listen to us later on the replays or on your favorite podcasting app. You know me. My name is @JohnRuark on the TikTok, and I'm a past master of the Patriot Lodge number 1957 in Fairfax, Virginia. Next up, we have remotely Joe Martinez. How's it going?
Hello there.
Worshipful.
Hi, how are you? Yes, Joe Martinez. That is my, where's my hand go there? That is my TikTok handle, Joe Martinez. And I'm still Worshipful Master of Manasseh Lodge number 182 till December 1st, fingers crossed, and member of many, many other things. And I am in the lovely town of Valparaiso, or Valparaiso for my Latino friends, Indiana. And I'm going to go see, I'm going to go visit Crown Martyrs Lodge tomorrow and hang out with some Indiana bros. So, yeah.
Nice.
Great to be here. Yes.
Good to hear. Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us in the
Thank you for having me.
Command. Yes, yes.
So great. So great.
You know who's even better to have on?
Who?
Another Worshipful Master. That is the sitting Worshipful Master, Worshipful Brother Tyler McKenzie of Sandoval Lodge number 76 in Rio Ranchero, New Mexico. So we thought a fitting show to talk about Masonic TikTok with a TikTok celebrity. Yes. So welcome, brother.
Well, thank you for having me, and it's a pleasure to be here and humbled that you'd ask me to talk on this topic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because you certainly know more than the two of us combined, I'm sure. So that'll be fun.
That's true.
Yes.
So we'll fill 5 minutes of the show, and then we'll wrap it up. But before we do, let's head over and thank the patrons who support the show. You guys are awesome and rock my socks. Head over to patreon.com/the Masonic Roundtable to help keep this show going for many, many years to come.
Yes. Before we get subsumed by TikTok. Yes. Keep donating.
Or until 2040.
2040.
Let's try to beat that number. It's an over-under at this point.
Yes.
All right. Well, and in our usual manner, let's go to Tarot Card of the Week. I'm going to draw. Let's see if I can share my extra camera here. All right.
Tarot cam.
I don't have a nice setup like Jason does, but we're going to go with the
twice as much John Ruark as I would like normally.
I know.
Yeah.
We're going to go with 10 of Wands.
10 of Wands. Okay.
Got a nice 8-bit thing going on here. There we go.
I like that deck. Yeah.
So 8-bit tarot, right? It kind of has some throwback, like early PC games, a little before Harpocrates time. But hey,
a little before, yes. Nintendos. Do you know what those are?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
So 10 of Wands. What's the 10 of Wands all about? Joe?
Well, we've got hard work.
A lot of hard work.
Responsibility. Things are burdens, finishing tasks, things like that. Yeah, a lot of hard work. So, yeah. Which I'm sure we'll talk about this evening.
Exactly. I was going to say that, and I was going to preface this. I was actually drawing it for you, Brother Tyler. So that means that you got a lot of hard work. Because, hey, it ain't easy being Worshipful Master. I'm the only one who's a past master here, so I get to kick back and enjoy this conference. You got something in your eye, Joe.
I do.
But this is you guys have a lot of work on your plate, and I know that there's no rest for the weary. So thank you for squeezing some time in, Brother Tyler. Yep.
Always got time for a brother.
So sweet, so sweet. All right, let's dive into this week's topic then, which is Masonic TikTok, because just like the podcast that came before the Masonic Roundtable, then even after the YouTube podcast thing, then TikTok blew up as a content medium. And I think what's fascinating is that the universal brotherhood that we have continues to carry on to new platforms. You could talk to some of the old timers and they'll talk about, news groups back in the day and early bulletin boards where Masons would meet each other online. And then just this evolution, you can't stop ever. Joe is not allowed to be a past master. You cannot stop brothers from wanting to communicate and collaborate, because the beauty of this thing is it's a universal brotherhood, and we are going to find ways to talk about Masonry as much as we can. We are not our grandfather's generation of you don't talk about Masonry. Right,
Well,
Joe?
I think everybody says that, right? And I think it's interesting how we've jumped into digital media. We're not the first kid on the block on any platform whatsoever, right? Like we weren't the first on TikTok, we weren't the first on Facebook, we weren't the first on whatever. God, I hate all of you, unless you're a Patreon, then I like you. But everybody else, love the comments tonight. So I think my wife's watching, so she's just getting more and more angry as the day goes on. But we're never the first one there, but I think we do leave a good mark. And exactly like you said, John, before the Masonic Roundtable, there was what?
There's blogs like Millennial Freemason blog. There was the Winding Stairs podcast, Whence Came You podcast. I mean, there was a lot of good podcasts at the time. The Digital Freemason. So.
Yep.
Each of these, I wouldn't say paves the way, because everyone takes a different spin. That's what I love about this. And that's like could be the first thing I was going to say, jumping in, is I love the fact that there are different avenues of Masonic education, of Masonic converse, in a different platform, right? It is not a competition. It is just a way for us to spread the light, be the representatives of the craft, and just, just be good Masons, right? Be good men.
And I think to your point, and then I'll let Tyler talk because he's chomping at the bit. But I think what it teaches us, or what it's supposed to be teaching us, is that there's more to Masonry than just what we see in our own little bubble. And the only way, if you can't physically get out there, what's the best place to meet people is online. Like meeting people from Europe or from South America or from the next state over. It kind of expands your horizons, which I think is one of the things we're going to talk about tonight.
Mm-hmm. I think if any type of competition, it should be a competition against the negativity. And I think one of the best things that we have for that is, unlike other platforms where if you want to find like the Masonic Roundtable or you want to find Masonry on YouTube, Facebook, you have to want to look for it. You have to actually go out of your way to even know you want to look for it. With TikTok, it's in your face. We have the For You page that's just
So tell us about this For You page, the FYP. What's that all about?
Well, what's so great about the For You page is it's going to show you people that you've never seen before, and bring up new topics that you've never come across before. But as well, it will connect you with other people that you followers, and as well who they follow. So the way that connects new people to topics is a good way for us to be able to grow and utilize it to spread the light of Masonry. And I think that those algorithms is what we really need to take advantage of. And that's where I think, because you brought up competition, and that's the only competition we should be having.
Yes. Who can best work and best agree?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Got to give a shout out to Burks, because I know, number one, he went to your lodge, right? Is he a member of your lodge?
He is the junior warden of my lodge this year.
That's awesome. Former Virginia Mason, awesome dude. We all know him.
We had him on the episode of the Beehive Club back before Joe.
BJ before Joe.
Yes, before Joe. That's we're going to spell that one out. Yeah, so it's great to have Brother Burks give a little chime in there. So,
but yeah, we'll talk about that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
So let's pull that thread on. So we talked a little bit about the algorithm, and just real quickly, like that, I think that's understated in the sense that it is much easier to stumble upon Mason talk, because of there's lots of Masons that are now getting on TikTok, and two, like you said, friends of friends and what friends like. it's only a swipe away, right? And because of how short form the content is, it's not an hour long podcast like this. Like you can have, what's the maximum now? It's up to 10 minutes now for TikTok.
It's between 3 seconds to 10 minutes.
But I couldn't tell you the last time I saw a 10-minute TikTok video, right? So
they're hard to find. You have to be looking for like documentaries and stuff. And there are some Masonic videos that will get that long, but not all. It's going to be pretty short. But keeping on like the algorithm thing, there's something called hashtags. Mm-hmm. And there's something that helps out with that competition against the negativity that I think that we should be going against is if you went 2.5 years ago on TikTok and you typed in a hashtag of anything that was Freemasonic, you would get a list of just negativity and hate and
conspiracy theory stuff, or
conspiracy theories, all of it. After about 2 weeks to about 3 weeks of Widows Miho, myself, and a couple of others that were just getting started at the time, it only took a couple of weeks of us utilizing hashtags, even the ones they were using, and just getting out our videos.
I'll take those. Thank you.
Yes. And then you went on and you type in Freemasonry, and you got my face, you got Widows Miho, you got a whole bunch of these other brethren. And I'm sorry you got my face, but hey, it is what it is.
Get what you pay for.
Yeah, we are too. Yeah.
I mean, it's better though than getting the negativity and the hate and stuff like that. So, and it was actually very humbling to see that all we had to do was make some type of effort, and we could be able to overturn that view, even though not everybody's changing view, but we have the ability to have that overturn.
I mean, yeah, you could say, if you put on your like social media content manager hat, like you could say, hey, let's bend the algorithm to fit our needs, right? You're doing it for all the right reasons, but at the same time, right, to sway the negativity. But I think what Joe brought up too was another good point, which is about as Nick Johnson, a former host of the Masonic Roundtable, used to say, that there is a warning against provincial masonry, where most Masons, unless they are actively searching for Masonic content out on the internet, really only know the Masonry in their lodge. So say more about that, Joe.
Yeah, so, and we were talking about this in the green room as well, but that is, I thought we were going to do the positives first, but I guess we're going right into the negatives. So thanks for being Debbie Downer, John.
It's a positive if you want it to be.
It's, well, not what I'm about to say, but so, being a novice when it comes to TikTok, I consume way more content than I generate, right? Because, I'm a Gen Xer. I gotta learn. Yep. But I think that the biggest thing is that a lot of the Freemasons that I've seen, because I will do exactly that. I'll search for certain hashtags and read stuff. I knew you were going to put that up on the screen. Damn it. You totally threw me off my game. Going through a lot of people who I don't know in person or I've never seen before, and I'll start watching their videos. And even some of the more popular content creators, what I'm seeing is a lot of provincial opinions coming out of these people, and they're speaking from a place of authority because, number one, they are a highly popular content creator on this platform. Mm-hmm. And number two, they're speaking with authority. And I know Brother Tyler and I talked about this before, and I'll let him chime in and add some color to it. But it does us such a disservice when you've got, you'll never see a video of Brother Joe on TikTok and saying, well, this is the way it is because this is the way I know it is, and that's the end of the story, right. And every other way is wrong, so shut up. And a lot of people kind of come off in that manner. And I think, again, it's very provincial. It's very closed-minded, and it goes against the grain of what we're taught, where, to go out and do Masonry, you can't do Masonry 100% on TikTok. You can't do it on YouTube, right, through a podcast. You have to go out and touch skin, and you've got to go out and be in a sacred space with other brothers and do all that stuff. But when you go out and you throw out these big, this is the way it has to be kind of thing, you make yourself look small, and I think it's a bummer because a lot of content creators do that. I
do see that there is a lot of that is occurring. every so often I probably even fall into that, and that is something that we should always watch not to do. Now, this is a personal opinion, but we should always be trying to strive that anything that we say on here is our own personal opinion, and that we do not reflect completely even our own jurisdiction, nor our lodges, nor Freemasonry. This it's a hard topic because
No, I think
there's brethren that they have good intentions behind what they're doing, and
Sure. Always assume noble intent.
yeah, we
Right.
always have a good intention behind it, and sometimes we get caught up in the fact that we care enough about the craft and our brethren so much that sometimes we get a little emotional in it, and it comes off that way, and it does affect the craft, one, in like people viewing us or us viewing each other, which can cause contention. And when we try to be more advisory than factorial, then it makes this so much more humble. When, let's just pretend, because I don't know exact numbers and I don't want to say exact numbers, just
Sure.
we're pretending here. Let's pretend there's 4 million Masons in the world. That means there's 4 million ways Masonry is done. Now,
or 5 million definitions of what Freemasonry is.
yeah, and one of them is looking at the ritual book. So I mean, we all have our different ways that we view Masonry, and the way we do Masonry, even though our jurisdictions say you got to do it this way, we don't always fully fall within that because we are rough ashlers and we're always trying to better ourselves. So I think that's something that I hope those brethren learn, as well as myself, that we're not here to, one, be Masonic police. We're here to better one another, and we should, instead of being ready to attack a situation, we should be ready to heal a situation. So,
well, you said something really poignant, and I want to make sure it's emphasized. It's that you said, and I've seen you do this. You've always thrown that caveat of, this is my personal view on this, or this is my personal opinion. And I think that's what's missing in a lot of the content when somebody starts to just get on a diatribe about something. Well, the candle should be, pink in the lodge, and it's because this is the way we've always done it. And, whatever other crap that they're spewing out of their mouths, you don't have that disclaimer on there. So it always, again, comes from that position of, I'm an authority in this, you must listen to me. And that's the way it is, where I think, having that disclaimer more often than not probably will alleviate some of that. But I think you make a really good point when you say that a lot of people do, and myself included, I get passionate about stuff. I'll even yell and scream about stuff. But, when you do come from that place of emotion or passion, it definitely does make it harder to have a grounded approach to what you say.
yes. And then when you get behind a screen and stuff like that, it adds a little bit more to it. And I mean, the idea of screen warriors, and I mean, to think that even us brethren are too good for that. I mean, we're
Oh yeah, we're humans. Exactly. At the
We're
end of the
gonna-
day,
yeah, we're gonna falter. We're gonna say things that are on our heads, and sometimes when you say things that are on the top of your head, if you're emotional, sometimes it's not always even what you want to say. Sometimes you say things that you regret and you wish you never had said. So I mean, the whole thing about us being on social media right now, the way we are, because we've been on it before we ever got on TikTok, but the way we are right now is new ground. This is a new thing we're facing, and it's gonna take a lot of mess ups before we get it right. And to say even I'm doing it right, nah. We're all still learning and trying to figure out this path, and we need to do it together, because if we deviate from one another or we isolate in each other, all we're going to do is show that that one person's weak, or that we're all weak. And if we are weak, then we're easily attacked, and then we're not going to be able to have a progressive future. But that's my opinion.
look, you got fans crossing platforms here, so just want to give you.
I know they left TikTok for 5 whole minutes.
They stopped
to come
swiping.
hang out with you here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I saw this one while we were talking about this, and I think it's a good comment. based on what we were talking about.
Yeah, it's better than simply saying ask your local lodge without any other input. It gives it a, well, just go Google it, detached kind of feel, right?
That's a good thing. In my opinion, actually, that's why I pulled away from a lot of education. Like on my live streams, I'll do a little bit of education, but in my content, I kind of pulled away from doing education until somebody really comes to me and asks me for it, is because I want masonry still to be kind of mystique. I don't want to take away the heart or the meat of it. I want them to want to look for those things. And if we just get on the internet and give it all out to them, then then you don't even have to join the lodge. I mean, you got it all. So
I mean, like, I hope there's not a show that does like 435 episodes. That would be like really giving too much of masonry away.
All the secrets.
So
all
let's
the
let's
secrets.
just tamper those
Well,
expectations.
you bring up an interesting point, and while you were saying that, brother Tyler, I was thinking about things like, when refracted light got big on Facebook and YouTube during COVID, right? Brothers couldn't meet, everybody wanted education, so people, I think, all valuable education programs were given, but we gave brethren a place to go when they couldn't go to lodge.
yes,
And I think, and it's interesting when you said that, like we're giving it all away. I don't think the things that are written about by Pike or Mackey or whichever your favorite Masonic author is, um, or Hall or whoever, I don't think for me, those aren't the secrets, right? The secrets are the intangibles, right? The things that we get by sitting in a lodge together, and the lodge is solemn and it's profound and it's not just a boring garbage meeting with green beans served for dinner. Um, where where you actually get to learn how to do masonry, right? So I mean, talking about the degrees and talking about the symbols, I think that's the means to the end, right? So like, to your point, I wouldn't have shut up, shut up, shut up. I hate the comments today. I hate it so much. I think that to your point, that doesn't take away the mystique, and I think, but to your point, with a lot of people who are consuming content, this is all they're going to ever see about the craft, right? Is the things that John says, or the things that you say, or the things that I say. So, I think you make a point. We should be careful with what we curate out there, because this may be the person's only experience with it. And
yeah.
either it's going to be positive or negative, or it's going to
Right.
lead them down a rabbit hole to more,
And to kind of go off of what you said that a lot of this was good because during like 2020, we didn't have lodge, and this gave them a sense of lodge. That's why I actually named the main group of all of us that get together. That's why I named it the TikTok Masonic Lodge #1. Is not to make it a lodge, not to try and be clandestine in any way, not to do any of that, but so many brethren at the time were making mention that this makes me feel like I'm at lodge, even though I'm not there. Others made mention, even after they got back to lodge, is that they had more of a sense of lodge and brotherhood here on social media with brethren than at lodge.
Yeah.
So I thought, let's bring kind of a lodge feel to it. Let's call it that. And everybody kind of voted in on it, in the little message thing. And we said, okay, that's what we're going to go with. And then that kind of brings me to, because we kind of hit on the negative, it's why I also started kind of pulling away from education, is because I believe we need to heal from a lot of hurt that's going on in this world. And right now, because I believe hurt doesn't have to be a cut or, a wound. A hurt can be lies. That can be hurtful. I mean, you're taking truth from somebody, and sometimes that can be more hurtful than an actual physical wound. And the best way to heal, I mean, we probably have all heard this, is laughter, a good smile. So I started kind of just taking certain things from masonry or from our interactions and experiences and making them funny, something to laugh at, not to ridicule masonry, not to make
No.
fun of masonry, but to make fun out of masonry and to give smiles to everybody, because there's hundreds of us on there doing education, and you can only do so much talk on the plum
Yeah.
or
Well,
the square. Like,
let me double down on that, because when I first started coming into some of your content, even before I met you in person, I was stumbling upon it because, back to the algorithm, you were actually doing some of the trends that were going on, but just in a Masonic spin, right? So whether you were using the same music or you were doing the same dance or you doing the, whatever that trending thing is, you'll see more of it if you like those kind of things. And so that's again a way to have fun with Masonry, right?
And take over the algorithm. That's one of
Right,
the things,
right.
because I'm connected with all the other brethren that are following me and I'm following them. So if I can get me doing all the trend stuff on the algorithm on the For You page, it starts putting them also on the For You page and vice versa.
Right,
So
right.
we can play off of each other, work off each other to build, because that's what we're trying to do. Put each perfect ashlar, so to say. I'm not saying many of us are perfect, but trying to build that edifice. Sorry.
Joe's
No, I
perfect.
was saying I'm perfect. Yeah,
Oh,
you
okay,
can
we got
continue.
one. We got one of them over here.
Continue.
Okay.
Go.
He's all about me.
Now, another thing I wanted to highlight too that I thought was a brilliant idea. So I visited your lodge back in January for the first time, and again had a great time with you as worshipful master, and it was a long night but a fun night. And one of the things that you said like just blew my mind, because you did a holiday fundraiser on TikTok. And you casually said, "Oh yeah, we raised like a whole bunch of money, for this charity or for this thing that the lodge was doing on TikTok." And I thought that was brilliant, right? Because you just said it so passively, like, this is just another thing we did. It was a lot of money, and it was on TikTok, right? So say more about, because I've seen other things you do where you've done some charity work over your lives in TikTok. And I think that is just a brilliant, brilliant application of using the platform for good and to promote Masonry and to actually be charitable. So what led you to that, and what have the results been? And just tell me all about that.
Well, something that I really do like about life is finding symbolism in it. That's one thing that led me, I guess you would say, into Masonry, is symbolism and allegory. And so when I got on TikTok, I wanted to find the symbol out of what it could be used for. And my main symbol is, as you start working through all the working tools, you end up at the trowel. And I try and utilize all my other working tools to get to the trowel. But I believe that social media is our trowel. It's a way to cement
Ooh,
our
I like
brotherly
that.
love and affection. And when I see the brotherly love, that's us connecting and talking and hanging out and bringing us together. The brotherly affection I see in, well, if someone's in distress and a brother asks for help, let's help. We've done things where we've helped out the Oxford Masonic Home for Children, raising close to 3,000 to 5,000, if not more, dollars for them.
Wow.
As well, brethren, right after 2020 or even during 2020, that were having hard times keeping their homes or their cars, or needing to pay some type of important bill like a hospital bill or whatever, and being able to utilize whatever we had, even 3D print things, take our collective books of Masonic stuff and raffle them off, or whatever it was that we could do to say, hey, brethren, this brother's in distress and he actually needs help, and can prove this person needs help, and be able to spread that help to him, because maybe their lodge has gone to their extent of being able to help them. And now we can add a little bit more. And with that, I mean, to me, I see numbers as, it's just great to see how much it brought us together to help somebody. But we've raised, all of us on here pulling together for these events, we've raised well over tens of thousands of dollars just within 2.5 years. And we've
That's
had
amazing.
brethren with their wives and 4 kids about to be on the streets. And in only a couple of days of promoting this and utilizing TikTok, we don't just raise the couple $100 they asked for. We raise them a couple thousand, because in the long run, you can raise them a couple $100 and get the rent paid. But then, are they comfortable? Are they able
Right.
to really get on their feet? No, they're going to probably be asking for money the next month. Let's
I
get them
think
a little bit more on top of that and show that we're a brotherhood that truly cares. And then not just that, call them and say, hey,
Yeah.
how are you doing after a couple of days or a month, and keep up with them and make sure they have a good support team, not just money.
I think all I heard was digital. It's really great, but you didn't mention things like let's have an oyster roast
Ha!
or let's have a clam bake, or where is your sense of traditionalism and where is your sense of stodginess? And I'm not getting any of that from you, and that's a problem for me.
Well,
I can't even say that with a straight face. I'm like dying.
well, today we're going to learn how to do the green bean recipe. Everyone,
Yeah.
Masonic.
And
Oh,
mute, and he is muted now.
drink.
I'm just kidding. Drink. Fill out your TMR bingo cards. You said green beans.
But I have to say, again, you say that so off the cuff, but I mean, but it's definitely worth like extolling because it's such a great thing that you're taking advantage again of the platform. That's the whole point of this episode, is to talk about how masonry is using the platform for good. We can talk about negatives all day. There's negatives everywhere, right? But what's unique about TikTok is that it's a different new platform that has different rules, different culture. I guess that's the best way to say it. It's a culture in itself. And that's what I find fascinating, is that there are certain things that you would put on TikTok that you wouldn't put on YouTube, that you wouldn't put in a podcast, and vice versa, for all good reasons, because people are there. I follow a content creator called Gary Vaynerchuk, and he's all about like respect the platform. Like, you put your professional stuff on LinkedIn, right? You put your long form stuff in podcasts and long form videos, and then you do short form like Insta Reels and TikToks and all that stuff. And you can't just copy paste. Like we could not put, we could just take this hour long episode of TMR, slice it into 6 10-minute videos, shove it up on TikTok. The ratio would be all off. Like, it would be boring. No one would sit around and watch it. Like, you can't do that because it's a different culture on there. Still masonry, but it's a different culture, and you have to respect the culture of the platform.
Yes. That is very important, is understanding what you can use each platform for. And I mean, TikTok, in my opinion, isn't the place where, because a lot of brethren, they do chats where they'll have up even more boxes than what's up here. You can have up to 9.
Yes.
And
They're exhausting.
everyone's talking and there's a lot going on, and sometimes it can be overwhelming.
It is overwhelming.
Yeah, and for some, I mean, that's okay. For me, on my channel, a lot of people will see that I don't do that, and sometimes they think that I'm trying to leave them out or I'm trying to be disconnected from them. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to just put on a show. Whether it's educational or whether it's entertaining, it's a show. I'm trying to just project what I need to for this. Now, I'm also trying to collect Masons, so to say, like brethren, try to collect them like Pokemon, Masonimons. We got Pikachu and stuff like that. But we're trying to I'm trying to kind of collect the brethren to the side so that then we can go to platforms like Discord. And that's where I want to interact and hang out, because one, you can say so much more. You don't have to watch what word you say. If you say the wrong this or the wrong that, you get banned, kicked, all that stuff. Plus you have all the trolls, the haters, and it's sometimes really hard to connect with your brethren there. So I don't always like to use it for the connection. I like to use it to collect and spread information, but then I like to use the other platforms to do all the connection and everything. So I understand that, and I actually
dig it. Yeah.
that is something we should do, is
Now,
respect platforms.
Now, to that point, though, let's go back to the lives and like where you can bring people in. I know that is one benefit of having lives on TikTok, is that you can dispel a lot of myths and you can have conversations, albeit brief, with profanes, right, with non-Masons who are just curious and want to know what this is all about. And there's a comfort level in the platform to just ask a question, whether it's in chat or whether to be brought in, all right, and join the live. And so, I mean, I'm sure you've done some of those as well, but because I see lots of TikTokers that will, I think I'm a Mason, AMA, like ask me anything, right?
Yeah. And I think it's good to do that. Actually, sometimes I like streams where I only have up to 10 people in there, because then it's more personal when you do get to talk to people and they're asking their questions, and you don't have a bunch of Masons answering to their jurisdictions. I mean, if they are of my jurisdiction, then I can talk directly to them. That doesn't always happen though. But when a lot of the time, I want them to just go to their jurisdiction. I want them to go to their lodge, go to your place, because no matter what I tell you, could be wrong. No matter what it is, because my jurisdiction's not yours. So, but if you have three brethren answering a question, one's yes, one's no, and one's well, maybe, well, then they don't really get a true answer, and they're more asking the
True.
host. So if
Yeah.
the host can focus on it and give them more of an answer of like, well, I can give you an answer. Yeah, you can be accepted. Da da da. Yeah, but then they go to the lodge and the lodge is all, nope, you're not accepted. Then they're like, well, that guy's a liar. Now Masons are nothing but liars. And
That could be.
yeah.
Damn.
So we need to be more informational like that, and it's easier to do that sometimes when there's not as many brethren on, or even as many people in the chat that aren't even brethren, so that you can interact more one-on-one. And that's why I try and just get them more, instead of educating them, just go to beafreemason.org, look for a lodge, go visit the lodge, talk to them. They will give you the right information, no matter what I tell you, unless you're looking at joining Sandoval or a lodge in New Mexico. I can't truly answer it.
Right. Exactly. I mean, and that's
Spot on.
that's a safe way to route them as well. Yep. So, what's the wildest thing you've seen on Mason Talk so far? Right. I'm not asking to like stir drama or anything like that, but like just or the most fun, most exciting, most like I wouldn't say craziest thing, but what's the most interesting, wildest thing you've seen in Mason Talk since
Can I share my
Lodge Number 1?
favorite experience?
That's exactly what I'm looking for.
The
Absolutely.
part of the most, I think, I mean, because crazy can mean many different things. You know, it could be whoa,
Yes.
crazy, or well, that was kind of crazy. You know,
Right. Yeah.
but there's a person that hit me up on TikTok, and I go to my messages and I check on it and I start reading, and this guy tells me, he's like, hey, I love your channel. I've been following you for months. I've been asking you questions. You've been answering them. And I just want to thank you wholeheartedly. And these are his words. He says, I've been a jerk, an asshole. I neglected my child. And these are his words. I'm just giving you the experience.
Wow.
To my own child, so much that I have not even met my grandkids. And this is well over 10 years that I haven't talked to my son, because he became a master Mason and I don't want him in my family. But because of talking to you and watching your videos, I finally got a hold of my son for the very first time. And this was a while ago. This is like about a year and a half ago. But to what he was saying, he says, in a couple of days, I'm actually going to meet my grandkids for the first time. And to know that these grandkids are going to get to meet their grandfather, and this guy gets to finally connect with his son again, but to also know that I helped bring a brother's dad back into his life. And I don't want to be any prideful, but I have a really deep connection with my father. And he actually is very negative towards Freemasonry. He thinks it's like the devil too. But my father still at the same time loves me and respects me enough that if I needed a ride to lodge, he'd drive me to lodge. He goes to my events when I ask him to, and he's there. And to know that this father now, like, this is very deep, and it really means something to me. That's
amazing.
That's why I'm here, and that's why no matter how much drama or anything
It keeps you going, right?
no matter how hard it gets for me, no matter what, I promise I'll never stop. I don't care. Like, I won't stop because of that story right there.
I love it.
That's
I
phenomenal.
absolutely love it. You gave me goosebumps like with that story, right?
I started crying. It gets me every single time. So
yeah,
that's awesome. Not the
got
crying.
all emotional. You said you weren't
awesome.
going to get me emotional.
Tech on it.
Wow.
We'll edit it in post. Yeah, and that's exactly what I was looking for. Like those kind of experiences. Because, and was he local or was he someone just you never met? Someone from a different place, right?
Another state, and just
And that's what I love about it. That's what I love about this whole thing, is it gets out of it shatters norms, right? It is an accessible way to approach Freemasonry, to interact, to be a representative of the craft. It's a beautiful thing. So thank you for sharing that. That's exactly what I was hoping to see some examples of that. And to your point is there's going to be negative everywhere, right? And so if you only focus on the negative, like we get crazy emails, we get crazy comments on our channel. You can't focus on those. Like that's noise, and that's someone looking for attention, and that's just someone who might need some help. But if you focus on those positive things and you look at the good stuff that you can do, it's a digital revolution. That's like the whole point of the whole subtitle of this episode. It is a revolution of how we can be good men in our community, and the community is now TikTok. Like you've got almost 1 billion people on TikTok now. I mean, it's insane.
There's a lot.
So we have to be there and represent our morals and virtues there, right, Joe?
Well, yeah, no, absolutely. And I think that you kind of hit the nail on the head, is that 30 years ago, your community was the people you went outside and saw get in the mail with you, or you saw at the local pub, or, you met for Sunday at service or Saturday at service or what have you. That community has grown. And I think younger folk, not in age, but folks who are on social media and are part of the digital media world, they understand that, and they know that their community is much larger than it used to be. And I think with a realization of that comes the fact that you are part of the larger human community. And I think that's a positive. There's no negative there, right? Being part of a much larger world. It gets you out of your own little rut and your own little, I've said the word a lot tonight, provincial ways of being. And it expands your worldview. And I think that's one of the key points of being a Freemason, expanding your worldview.
That's why I joined Masonry, to be a part of something bigger than myself. I mean, by myself, I can go raise money and help out a charity, but with a bunch of like-minded individuals that want to go do those same exact things, we can raise way more money and way more awareness and do way bigger and greater things for our community than just what I can do. And that's why when I found TikTok, I was like, Masonry can do so much with this if we utilize it right. But it's great too, because it is such a new place. And I mean, that's one important thing to Masonry is rough ashlers. And we, no matter who we are, when we first come to this, we're going to be rough ashlers, and we got so much to learn from each other. And I think that's one thing that we need to do is learn from one another, bond with one another, whether or not we fully agree with everything. That doesn't matter. We just need to find the best way to best work and best agree and get things done.
Yeah. What's your Threads username?
What's that?
What's your Threads username?
You mean on what's Threads?
The new Twitter.
Oh, there's a new Twitter, huh?
Twitter, yes.
I guess I'm gonna have to look that.
Time to move on. It's nice knowing you on TikTok.
Right. After this interview, I ain't doing any more TikTok.
That's it. We're done. Close up shop.
Do you know how much hate mail we're gonna get? Like, oh my God, John and Joe ruined.
You killed it. You killed TikTok.
Something big though that I do believe all of us do need to realize on TikTok is no matter what, whether we want it or not, we are going to be seen as a face of Freemasonry.
Let's go into that. I'm going to pull that thread because the last thing I was going to ask you was like, what are the do's and don'ts of like being a Mason on TikTok? Right,
Well,
Joe?
I have don'ts. Yeah, I have don'ts. But
You have don'ts?
you go first.
Let's hear the do's.
Well, all I can really say on this one is it's my opinion. I can say with a bunch of brethren that I don't agree with what they do. I might feel even some brethren less educated or more educated than others for whatever reasons, amount of years they've been in, or I've heard something they said and I think it's not, whatever that is. but in my honest opinion, the only thing I feel that we should not do, even with all my other, with anyone's what they do, is we need to quit with the trolls. These people want attention. That's what they want, is attention. And if we keep giving them attention, then
Absolutely.
all they do is get views off of it. They get their narrative spread around. If we interact with true interest, like sometimes they'll say something off the wall, but they actually have true interest to have it debunked, and they want us to show them the right way. If we can focus on them more so than all these trolls, one, we're going to bring more light to the craft. We're going to bring more people to the craft that will actually be stronger, because they came from one side and now they see it from another, and they took that time to find that change. My opinion, the only really real big don't would be leave them alone. We need to quit fighting with people. We need to stand up for ourselves, not just roll over and be weak, but we don't have to project ourselves in a negative way to fight negativity. That's my only real don't. Other than that, do whatever we possibly can to push the craft and show that it is a good thing, whether it's doing charitable things for a brother that's in need, or a charitable place that needs something, or whatever it is. Even if you think, well, I don't think this should be on here, maybe I'm not, maybe so, try it. The worst you can get is a no. So that's my opinion.
Joe, what's your no?
You waiting for me to go flying? Okay, so my big no is not, and I'm not going to say the things I said before, it's a new thing, not understanding that Freemasonry is universal. And what I mean by that is I see lots of popular content creators. What they do is they start to proselytize religious views while they're talking about Freemasonry. And that drives me completely up a wall. I make a very good point to, even on the show or when I'm in lodge, especially when I'm in lodge, when I'm sitting in a lodge with brother, in my home lodge, there's brothers from at least 4 different faith groups. And we have all the books of faith on our altar. And I know some jurisdictions can't do that, and that's cool or whatever. But, when you start to quote scripture that has nothing to do with masonry, things out of like the epistles and stuff, I'm like, that's not in any degrees, dudes. Stuff like that. Like when you start to proselytize and mix religious opinion with Freemasonic commentary, that drives me completely bat crazy. I'm not going to use a bad word tonight, but I think it's a detriment, because it starts to show, oh, well, crap, I need to be this type of Christian in order to be a Freemason. And it sends such a bad signal out. You know what I mean? And you can talk about Freemasonry and you could talk about it from a moralistic standpoint, and you don't have to throw in the color of your own religious opinions. Leave that for outside the lodge, like you're supposed to, right?
What?
That's, yeah.
So next you're going to tell me I can't talk about politics in lodge either.
I don't really care if we do or not, but I know it's a no-no.
What?
But yeah,
No
I think
way.
the whole point is, yes, yeah. I'm not going to say the other thing.
But I can honestly agree to some degree with that. I mean, there's a difference between saying that you're a Christian Mason than saying you're a Mason that's also Christian.
Yes, agreed.
There is a difference in that, and when we do make it kind of like as an evangelical thing, then it takes away from Masonry, because it's not a religion.
Boom.
But that's where we all are rough ashlers, and we do need to work on that to some degree. I mean, also, I'm not very religious, so to say, but even I sometimes will quote scriptures and try and connect certain things that might not need to be, but that's where we definitely need to make sure we say, this isn't Masonry. This is our opinion and
I like that
action. So.
And that's my point, is that does not happen. You know what I mean? Like I start to see the two getting conflated together, and there's no disclaimer made. Exactly. You're great at disclaimers. I love that. That's not what happens though. And again, going back to my earlier point, if that's the only video that someone saw about Freemasonry, they're going to walk away with a bad taste in their mouth. What if it's a Hindu person who's interested in joining Freemasonry, and he gets 10 minutes of the same content creator saying, well, crap, I need to be a Christian. No, that's not true. You just got bad intel from someone, and now we've ruined your Masonic journey for you. You know what I mean? you can be moralistic and you can talk about general concepts that we teach in Freemason. What do we say? Freemasonry is not a religion, but it is indeed religious, right? Because
Right.
there's this common thing that happens in all the major faith groups that brings us together around an altar, right? Where I can sit as a Christian, I can sit in a room around an altar, right? It's not a table, it's an altar, but I can sit with a Jewish brother and a Muslim brother and a Hindu brother and a Buddhist brother, and we're fine. You know what I mean? Because we're not bringing those individual things to the forefront of what we're doing when we do our masonry. And that's my point.
Yeah.
So, Brother Tyler, what is your opinion on this new NPC trend that's making people a lot of money? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Well, first of all, what you need to do is you need to send me pancakes and more syrup. Yum, yum. Yum.
That was awesome.
Please send me spaghetti dinners.
It's so bizarre, right?
Yum,
But these
yum.
people are making hundreds of dollars an hour.
I actually, I'm the type. I mean, if you watch my channel, you can see me. I dress in odd outfits sometimes, and I'll go out of my way sometimes to get a brother to laugh or whatever. And I'll even go out of my way to raise money for a brother or for an organization when it's needed. So I've actually played around with that on my channel on live streams for fun a couple of times, and it actually has caught on a little bit. And if it really would raise a lot of money for awareness towards any type of charity, I would totally do it. But other than that, it is a weird trend.
It's a weird trend, but it works, man. Like, let's do it. Let's.
Why not?
Exactly. Like, make that cash.
You know how expensive that pancake breakfast gift emoji is? That thing's expensive. If we can get them to send those to me all day.
We need to get Joe to do an NPC live and have green bean emojis. That would be. I'm paying money right now. I'm getting the cash out.
If it's for charity, I'm gonna shut my mouth. So, if it's just to please you, no.
Yes, yum yum.
That's great.
On that note, let's start wrapping it up. Final question of the night. And so we'll start with Joe. We'll go to Brother Tyler, and then I'll end things up. And that is, what do you see as like the potential for the future of Mason Talk, of the future of Freemasonry on TikTok as a platform for good? So think about that, and I'll head it over to Joe for his final thoughts.
Yep. So in general, I do think TikTok is a positive platform for Freemasons. Like I said, I'm mostly a consumer. So if I'm not watching Brother Tyler or some of the other Masonic folks, I am watching those videos that are coming from the East, where they're tying, rubber chickens to their feet and slapping the hell out of each other, which just makes my day. But those are great. Yeah, no, I think it's great. I think that Brother Tyler brought up some amazing points tonight, and I'm glad he did. And they were very well-spoken points. They were articulate, and they made sense, right? Like, curate your content and, know your platform and know your audience. And I think those are all good things. And I think if the craft is going to expand its worldview into TikTok, not just individual content creators, but, big organizations and things like that, I think they need to see what the audience is looking for and make sure they push that content out. And again, keep it in a positive framework. I love the message tonight. I'm going to be honest, and John knows this. I was going to come into this episode with a lot of negative things to say, because there was a lot of things that have irked me about seeing Masons on the platform. But I think through this individual podcast that we did today, you definitely changed my opinions on that. And I think that it can be a more positive place to learn about Freemasonry and to push the things that we care about the most. So, yeah, kudos to TikTok. We'll definitely see me more on there. And yeah.
Good stuff. Awesome. All right, Brother Tyler. Again, the same question. What do you see as the potential benefits going forward, right, with the future of Freemasonry on TikTok?
Well, first of all, let's say that TikTok is a melting pot of negativity and positivity, and it's probably one of the biggest pools of trolls and being on an open platform for attacks and for people to come at you. So what do I see of the future in a positive way? I believe that, well, hello there to my senior warden that just came in or has been in here. But when we go into something and we're trying to defend it or put a veil and try and pull off that veil, we want to do it with a shield, an armor, and a sharpened sword. And if we're going to go out in the world to try and show that masonry is a beautiful thing and that we're not these boogeymans and monsters that they so see us as, if we can survive TikTok, we can survive pretty much almost anything. And I believe it will be a strong platform for us to build our armor and to build ourselves up, to be able to not really protect, because masonry doesn't need to be protected, but it needs to be preserved. And I think that this is a good platform to preserve masonry and to build relationships with brethren from every jurisdiction, as long as we can utilize it and utilize our working tools properly to build those relationships. And I do believe TikTok's not going to be around, forever, and we're probably going to have other apps and stuff, but this is a great stepping stool for what we're trying to do. We just need to utilize it properly, and I hope we can.
Hear, hear. Love it. Totally agree.
Yeah, man.
So the beauty of going last is what they said, right? Because you guys nailed it. But, again, I'll double down on what I said earlier, is that it's the platform, right? That we're taking masonry to a different level, not a new level, not a greater level, right? We're taking it to a different level where I believe, and it's my personal opinion, that we as Masons should be out in the community. And if the community is on these platforms, then therefore we need to have good representation. And I'll say it, like, people are getting greater likes, attention, views, whatever you want to call it, on here than you do get through any Grand Lodge, but like official program, right? So we're reaching more people than entire Grand Lodges per week. So it's not out of vanity. It's out of like, look at what's possible. Look at how important the message of Freemasonry is. And so I definitely encourage multiple content creators on all the platforms doing all the right things, being good representatives of the craft. And so we're doing this on YouTube, we're doing this on Facebook, streaming the video, and I wanted to bring in a different perspective, because we're, TMR is not very active on TikTok, but that's because, we haven't adapted it. And like I said earlier, we're not going to like cut and paste, right? We want to make sure we respect the platform, respect the community, respect the culture, and do what's best as good citizens and good Masons. And so I want to thank Brother Schuyler for coming on, sharing his experiences. It's just, you just did an excellent job representing all of that's out there. And again, there's many other content creators out there, too many to list. But we wanted to at least give those who aren't familiar a little taste of what Masonic TikTok is all about. And so with that, it's been a fantastic episode. I want to thank you all very much for watching, and keep searching for more light. Have a good night.
Wow.